So, good evening, everyone. Good evening, guys. So, now we are now discussing the chapter 7, which is the group counseling. And I am Mercy Malakapo, your introduction girl for tonight. So, this chapter examines the following aspects of the groups: their history, their place in counseling, including the types of groups most often used, their theoretical basis, issues and stages in groups, and qualities of effective group leaders. The mga nabanggit ko is yun yung mga i-discuss natin sa gabing ito. So, let's start with the history. So, next slide, please. Next slide. Okay. Who's this boy? So yung history dito sa group counseling is nagpapaloob siya ng mga tao na nagkaroon ng contributions in the group counseling, and iisa-isahin natin sila and i-discuss natin yung mga naging contribution nila. The first one is Jacob L. Moreno. So sino si Jacob L. Moreno? So siya yung nag-introduce ng term na group psychotherapy into the counseling literature in the 1920s and began psychodrama as a therapeutic approach to counseling. So, yun yung naambag ni Jacob L. Moreno. The next one, who's this boy? So, the next one is, he's Kurt Lewin. So, Kurt Lewin, his field theory concepts in the 1930s and 1940s, yun yung naging basis ng Great Britain sa kanilang Tavistock or T-small study groups and sa T-group movement rin ng United States. So next one, we have Fritz Perls. So Fritz Perls, whose Gestalt approach to groups attracted new interest in the field by stressing the importance of awareness and obtaining group congruence within oneself. So, yung Gestalt approach niya, so nagkaroon siya ng panibagong interest, para nagkaroon ng panibagong page para magkaroon pa ng progress sa T-groups. Ayun. So, the next one is, we have William Edwards Deming. So, he conceptualized and implemented the idea of quality work groups to improve the processes and products people produce and to build morale among workers in businesses. So, yung pag-conceptualize niya ng idea para sa quality work groups is parang mas nag-hone para sa morale sa workers in businesses. Next one, we have William Schatz. William Schatz po yung nakita naming pronunciation sa apelyido niya. So, William Schatz, hindi lang siya nag-iisa dito. Meron din siyang kasama. Ang pangalan niya po ay Jack Gibb. So, si Jack Gibb po, hindi ko po makita yung image niya sa Google. I'm so sorry. So, William Schatz, together with Jack Gibb, they emphasized a humanistic aspect to T groups that focused on personal growth as a legitimate goal. And the last but not the least, we have, who's this boy? Yan, kilalang-kilala natin to. So, we have Carl Rogers. Dito, sa chapter na to, ang contribution ni Carl Rogers is, he devised the basic encounter group that became the model for growth-oriented group approaches. Encounter groups emerge from T groups in an attempt to focus on the growth of individual group members rather than the group itself. They were intended for normally functioning people who wanted to grow, change, and develop. So, next po. So, we have yung encounter groups na nag-emerge sa T-groups. So, ang focus niya is yung para sa growth ng mismong individual members, hindi lang yung group itself. Bawat isa sa kanila dapat nagkaroon ng improvement, ganon. So, we have self-help or support groups. So, these are synonymous by Claw and Humphreys, 2004, page 630. So, this group takes two forms: those that are organized by an established professional helping organization or individual, and those that originate spontaneously and stress their autonomy and internal group resources. Self-help groups usually develop spontaneously, center on a single topic, and are led by a layperson with little formal group training but with experience in the stressful event that brought by the group together. So, itong self-help groups, nagko-contain siya ng few members. So, dun sa members na yon, merong isang lay person or isang leader na parang mag-a-assist dun sa mismong session na gagawin nila. And then, itong self-help groups na to, meron silang same problem or same na pinagdadaanan. And they are going to set one goal na kaya nilang ma-attain or ma-achieve. Next, please. So, groups have number of general advantages in helping individuals. So, ang pinaka-goal talaga nitong groups na to is para mas makatulong sa individual na yon na ma-attain yung goal niya or mas 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 mapadali yung pag-heal ng isang tao. So, Yalom and Lesh in 2005 have characterized these positive forces as therapeutic factors within groups. For counseling and psychotherapy groups, these factors include the following. So, we have installation of hope. So, ito palang mga nakalabas dito, ito yung parang mga magiging standards kung ano ba yung dapat meron sa group na yon, ganon. So, we have first, installation of hope. So, ito yung positive attitude. Positive attitude na para siyang assurance na yung goal nila na sinet is maa-attain. So, yun yon. The next one is the universality. Ito yung realization na sama-sama kayo kasi nga group counseling, nasa group kayo. As what I've said, kaya na buo yung self groups na yun kasi may same kayo may same problem kayo. So, marirealize nyo doon na hindi lang kayo nag-iisa, may mga kasama kayo. Magkakaiba man yung pain tolerance, pero all in all, we will do this together, parang ganon. Magkakasama tayong harapin ito at solusyonan, ganon. And the next one is the imparting of information. Ang mga information na nakalagay dito is the instruction about mental health, mental illness, and how to deal with life problems. So, itong imparting with information na to, dapat hindi lang isa yung nakakaintindi dito or hindi lang isa yung naka-gets nito. Dapat lahat, even the lay person itself or the leader, tapos yung member, dapat lahat sila. The next one is the altruism. This is a belief or practice of having a selfless concern for the well-being of others. Ang example nito is yung pag-share mo ng experience and thoughts sa kapwa mo member, tapos pagtulong na rin sa kanila, and then yung pagsasama-sama nyo, working for the common good. Ayun. Then the next one is the corrective recapitulation of the primary family group. Ang example nito is, for example, dun sa mismong session na yon, merong isang family problem na na-arise or nabanggit dun sa session na yun. Yung family problem na yun, ng isang member na yun, tutulungan niyo siyang maresolbahan yung family problem na yun, or kahit man lang ma-accept niya, ganun, basta ma-resolve yung problem na yun with the corrective recapitulation of the primary family group. The next one is the, next slide po, is the development of socializing techniques. So since this is group, so hindi lang one-on-one to sa counselor eh. Ito iba, makikipag-interact ka sa ibang tao. So ibig sabihin, yung social skills mo, pakikipag-interact mo sa ibang tao is mag-i-improve o mag-hone. And at the same time, matututo ka kung paano harapin yung isang tao, ganun. For example. And matututunan mo or makikilala mo rin yung sarili mo sa pakikipag-usap sa ibang tao, since it is one of the social skills, which is the knowing about oneself, about yourself in social situations. The next one is imitative behavior. So from the word imitative, kokopyahin, pero not on a bad way. Kokopyahin mo siya kasi feeling mo makakatulong rin siya sa'yo. For example, yung isang member na habang dun sa session, nagbigay siya ng tips kung paano niya nakocope yung isang bagay. As realization na baka maging effective rin sa akin 'to, kokopyahin mo yung na yun, yung tips na yun, gano'n. Yun yung imitative behavior. The next one is the interpersonal learning. From the word interpersonal, ito yung mga realizations, gaining insights, and correctively working through past experiences. So, ang first thing na gagawin natin kung paano natin ma-work yung past experiences natin is to accept it. So, acceptance. The next is the group cohesiveness, which is the bonding with the other members of the group. Dito may include yung rapport, tapos kung paano mo kausapin or paano ka makipag-interact din ng may respeto din sa kapwa mo members, ganon. The next one is the catharsis, which is experiencing and expressing feelings. So, dun nakapaloob yung catharsis on how you express your feelings, and syempre yung sa pagkukwento na rin ng mga experiences mo. And the last one is the existential factors. This is accepting responsibility for one's life in basic isolation from others, recognizing one's own mortality and the capriciousness of existence. So, dito sa existential factors na to, maaano dito na yung mga napag-usapan nyo sa group session na yon dun sa self-support groups, ganon. Hindi lang siya dapat dun lang, dapat ma-apply mo rin siya sa real life, ganon. And accepting responsibility for one's life in basic isolation from others, ganon. Parang kung ma-realize mo rin dito na kung ano yung gawa mo may effect din sa ibang tao, ganon. So, the group may also serve as a catalyst to help person realize a want or a need for individual counseling or the accomplishment of a personal goal. So, that's it. Sana may matutunan kayo. Sana lang may natutunan kayo. And again, I'm Mercy M. Malacapo, and the next one would be types of groups, which will be reporting by Josh Lipio. So, Josh, your turn.
Hi guys. Magandang gabi sa inyo at ako nga ulit si Josh R. Lipio and I'm going to tackle the four major types of group in counseling. So next slide po. So there are four types of group in counseling. First is psychoeducational group therapy, counseling groups, psychotherapy groups, and task or work groups. So let's start in psychoeducational group therapy. Psychoeducational group therapy, sometimes known as guidance groups or educational groups, it is a form of group therapy that conducted by a mental health professionals that focuses on educating members on how to deal with potential threat, a developmental life event, or an immediate life crisis. So basically, the purpose of psychoeducational group therapy is providing education or spreading awareness through information sharing and for development of healthy coping mechanism. So for example nito ay yung experience ko nung senior high school ako, meron kasi kaming work immersion at mandatory yun. I used to work in counseling office, guidance counseling office, and I was invited by counselors to participate in psychoeducational group therapy regarding sexual identity and um, prevention and awareness about transmitted disease, which is the HIV. And after that, sobrang sobrang yung experience ko doon, sobrang maganda dahil ayun ah, natutunan ko marinig at makinig sa mga facilitators din doon kasi they are giving us factual information regarding the topic at ayun, we share our experiences, feelings, and thoughts, and some of them they share their problems or struggles about their sexual identity, and that experiences give me an idea, big an idea, that psychoeducational group therapy helps to make the group participants not only a safe place to process their feelings and problems, but it adds a strong educational component. And next, please. Second group is counseling groups. So these groups help participants resolve problems or of leading through interpersonal support and problem solving, which means that participants have the opportunity to, to practice new ways of interacting with others, like exploring their feelings towards themselves and other members, because it helps them to recognize that they are not alone. And hearing and sharing different ways of coping with similar problems may help them to develop new ways of managing their life. And compared to psychoeducational therapy group, the facilitator, nagse-set na sila kung ano yung i-discuss nila na topic. In while in counseling group, it has no specific topics because participant can freely talk with other group member. They are comfortable to talk what they are concerned to. And next topic. So now let's proceed in third group, psychotherapy groups. So this group focuses on personality reconstruction or remediation of deep seated psychological problems. So yeah, which means that psychotherapy groups deal with both conscious and unconscious problems and aim for major personality reconstruction. So kaibahan lang naman ito sa counseling counseling groups, sa counseling groups, it address short-term issues. Pero dito naman, it's long-term issues and treat more severe psychological disorders. At the intervention of psychotherapy groups, it only lasts or depende pa rin sa mismong therapist kung kailan sila kung kailan anong specific date kung pwede silang makita, ganyan. Only 4 members lang or 7 to 8 or members ang pwedeng magkasama sa psychotherapy groups. And because psychotherapy groups is also effective way to bringing about changing and coping mech giving a coping mechanism to face their mental issues. And for example of psychotherapy groups are the groups for experienced depressions, eating disorders, anxieties, or post traumatic stress disorders. So now, last group is task or work groups. It's a group that comes together to perform a task that has a concrete goal. So it also they include also the task forces, committees, planning groups, community organization, learning groups, and other similar groups to correct or develop their functionings. So ang task or work groups, ang ginagawa nila ay nagse-set sila ng objectives and goals and kung paano yung proseso na ma-attain ang mga ito. So now, let's slide po. So, like other types of groups, task or work groups run best when the following factors are in place. So first, purpose of the group is clear to all participants. So meaning, to achieve the desired goals of the group, it is important then to understand kung anong maintindihan nila kung ano pinakaloob or objective ng purpose nila. Yon. At kasi yung purpose is plays the critical role to their group because it is the source of the meaning and significance in what they do. So second is process or dynamics and content or information are balanced. So in this time, ang ibig sabihin nito, kinakailangan sa isang grupo ay may balanse sa pagbibigay ng impormasyon at pagproseso. So there are leader that can lead the groups, the member to the information, kung ano yung kailangan nilang gawin, kung anong dapat nilang iset na goals. At meron isang leader din na para ma-attain yung goals, they need to use instructional tools or planning ganyan, to achieve the objective and their goals. So next slide, please. So third is time is taken for culture building and learning about each other. So it takes time naman talaga to get to know one another. Hindi naman agad-agad na kapag nakita na kayo ay kaya mo na yung i-express sa sarili mo kasi it takes time to rapport, na magkaroon ng positive relationship sa ka-member mo. At particularly those with different interests and backgrounds. But in the meantime naman, ang bawat isa or group members may gain sense of trust. Yun yung kinakailangan na magkaroon ng tiwala sa isa't isa sa kanilang relationship to extend that they willing to be honest and have a positive relationship to the other group member. Next slide po. Ngayon po, dumako tayo sa third group is conflict. It is addressed through communication. It will help to calm down to the members and self-reflect to make an action to resolve the conflict. So, kapag na-address na yung conflict, kinakailangan na magkaroon agad ng consensus and compromise sa bawat grupo para malaman kung paano 'to mare-resolve para, um, at para maiwasan din ang mas malalim na problema. So, ayun. So, group members can receive and give feedback about group ideas. Dahil nga nagkaroon na ng trust, nagkaroon na ng bond sa bawat members, dito mas mapapadali yung pagbibigay ng suggestions for improvements to their uh, to their plan. So ngayon, leaders pay attention to the here and now. So meaning the leader is often focused on what members are feeling in themselves and towards other members and practice development. So importansya din ng isang namumuno na magkaroon ng atensyon sa nangyayari sa paligid, sa anong nangyayari sa kamiyembro, sa anong nangyayari sa proseso ng kanilang plano, sa anong nangyayari sa anong nangyayari sa personality ng mga member nila, kung okay pa ba, kung okay pa ba yung relationship ng bawat isa, kung nagkakaroon pa ba ng strong bond na para nagkakaroon pa ba ng positive interaction. So kinakailangan na i-address ito bilang isang namumuno o leaders. So time is taken by leaders and members to reflect on what is happening. So bilang isang leaders or members, kinakailangan din na maging accountable sa mga nagawa. Kinakailangan magkaroon ng responsibility at support sa bawat isa kasi dito kahit kahit na magkakaroon man ng problema, mas magbibigyan ng solusyon kung ito naman ay nagkakaroon ng suporta sa bawat isa. So ngayon napag-aralan na natin ang 4 types of groups in counseling at ang benefits naman nito ay malaki kasi there has a lot of studies that group therapy is really effective to the people who want to part of certain groups. And the participant benefits from knowing that they are not alone and seeing their own struggles reflected in others. So, ayun, remember na kung kayo ay nakakaranas ng nakakaranas kayo ng mental issues, meron kayong nakaka-experience kayo ng stress, ganyan. Huwag kayong mahiya na lumapit sa mga specific na groups, organization na makakatulong sa mismo niyong problema. So, yun lamang po. Maraming salamat po. At ngayon naman, dumako naman tayo sa next reporting.
Theoretical approaches in conducting groups. Theoretical approaches in conducting groups ay nag-iiba-iba katulad ng individual counseling. But for instances, group work approaches based on psychoanalytic, gestalt, person-centered, rational emotive behavior, cognitive, and behavioral theories. The implementation of any theoretical approach differs because of that group dynamics. There are three factors There are three factors that the group leaders needs to consider when deciding on what theoretical approach to take. First, do I need a theoretical base for conducting the group? Assess the members of the group before picking a theoretical approach. Para yung gagamitin mong method ay sure na suit sa kanila. Number two, what uses will the theory best serve? After choosing a theory, think how you will apply it differently. Yung talagang makakatch ng group member mo yung goal ng group. Number three, what criteria will be employed in the selection process? Pag-isipan mo, ano ba ang need ng group? Pasok ba sa goal ng group at kung makakatulong ba talaga ito sa group as a whole? Forden Urban believes that counselors should consider these four main factors on selecting a theory. All these factors contain liabilities and advantages. Mahalaga ito lalo na sa beginner na counselors para ma-evaluate kung anong theory ang mas bagay gamitin at mag-fit sa personality ng mga group members. Personal experience, consensus of experts, prestige, and verifying body of knowledge. Stages in group. Every group go through stages. Kung ang individual or ang group leader ay hindi aware sa mga ito, maaari itong maghatid ng confusion sa kanila. At imbes na makatulong or maging mas makatulong, imbes na sana ay maging makatulong or makabuluhan para sa kanila. Lachman designed the four stages of the group development: forming, storming, norming, and performing. Lately, the concept added a fifth stage, adjourning or mourning. Each of these stages have a certain task to perform. These are the characteristics of the 5 group stages. First, forming, characterized by precaution associated with any new experience and trying to avoid rejection by others. Ito yung pagsisimula ng group. Ito kung saan nagkakaroon pa ng hiyaan or hindi nakikipag-cooperate because takot silang ma-reject ng co-member nila. And fear. Group members tend to have conversations that do not have direct impact to the group to establish bond. Ito yung oras na nagkakaroon sila ng pag-uusap-usap and ito, wala tong connection about sa goals ng group. Ito yung way to establish bond sa loob ng or mismo sa mga group members. Task processing, reviewing members' goals and contracts. Ito yung titignan mo kung tama ba yung pinapasok mo. Kung yung goal mo ba ay same dun sa goal ng group na pinasok mo. Or tama ba yung contract na pinirmahan mo or pinasukan mo. And group rules and setting limits. Ito yung time na nagbibigay ng group rules si leader and nagset sila ng limits between the group and the group leaders. And sa mga group member din. Ito yung about sa confidentiality, um, um, and other stuff. And also, uh, and also promoting positive interchange so that they will want to continue. Ito yung um, useful procedure. Ito na yung joining, linking, cutting off, and clarifying purpose. Ito na yung group dapat nagjo-join, nagpa-participate, nagli-link na sila nagsa-start na sila mag-link ng band, and um, ito na yung nagka-clarifying na sila kung ano talaga yung purpose ng group para sa kanila. Or kung tama ba yung purpose ng group sa purpose na gusto nilang ma-attain. Storming, characterized by a time of conflict and anxiety. Group moves from primary to secondary tension. Attempt to balance between too much and too little tension. Peer relationship. Group members tend to be more anxious in their interactions with with one another. Ito yung nagkakaroon ng hiyaan. Ito pa yung tayo na hindi pa nila sure or meron pa silang trust issues sa mga ka-members nila. That's why they are anxious to na lumapit sa mga co-members nila. And yung task processing is concentrate on direct objects. Kung ano bang objective, kung bakit nagkaroon ng grupo, kung bakit nasimulan yung grupo, at kung bakit ka nasa grupo. Useful procedure. Ito yung leveling, yung feedback, yung informal and formal feedback. Ito yung one by one, nagbibigay ng feedback sa kung ano yung ang mga nangyayari, ganun, kung ano sa mga members, sa group leader, ganun. Bibigay sila ng mga thoughts about things about group. Norming. Characterized as individuals feels that they belong to the group and cooperate. Ito na yung nagsa-start ng mag-strength yung bond na nabibuild nila. Peer relationship. Identification with other in the group and hope, cooperation, and collaboration. Ito na yung nagsa-start silang makipag-cooperate kung ano man ang dapat gawin sa group. Ito yung nagkakaroon na sila ng na-identify na nila yung mga group members nila and na-identify na nila yung sarili nila as a group member. Task processing. Members must agree on the establishment of norms which to cooperate the group. Commitment is stressed during this time. Ito na yung time na dapat lahat na ng members ay nakikipag-cooperate, nag-agree sa mga norms, ano ba yung mga bagay, yung mga bagay na kailangan pag-usapan, ganun. And dito na rin papasok yung sinasabing commitment. Yung dapat by next meeting, attend ka, yung sa attendance. Attendance is a must. At pumasok ka sa group na yun because you want to improve. You want something to get out about yourself, or may gusto kang linawin or makita or mahanap yung sarili. Ganon. Task processing. Members must agree on okay. Useful procedure. Supporting, empathizing, facilitating, and self-disclosure. Ito na yung because of the strengthening of the bond, dito na yung supporting, sinusupport nyo na yung bawat isa sa group. Nagkakaroon na kayo ng empathize sa nafe-feel nyo na yung nafe-feel na kasamahan nyo sa loob ng grupo. And the second, the performing or working characterized as focus on the achievement of individual and group goals, and the level up of the group into more unified and productive system. Ito na yung part na um, um, na-achieve mo na, unti-unti mo nang nakikitang na-achieve mo na kung ano yung goal mo as individual at goal ng grupo nyo as a whole. And yung band nyo is nagkaroon na ng strong band at nayu-unified na kayo as a group. Kaya nagkakaroon na ng productive system sa loob ng grupo. Peer relationship. Genuine concern on a deep personal level by members for one another. Increase awareness in the group about individual participants and the world of each other. Ito na yung part na wala nang hiya. Binigay mo na yung trust mo ng buo at yung feelings mo for them strong na if they need if yung ang tawag dito, genuine na yung nararamdaman mo para sa kanila, hindi ka na parang nakiki-ride on, hindi ka na sige, ganyan, ganto, ganon. Yung nararamdaman mo ay totoo na or genuine na ganon. And malalim na kasi nag-establish na kayo ng band, nag-establish na kayo ng relationship between each other. Kaya yung peer relationship na dito ay napaka-strong na. And task processing is emphasize on productivity, whether the results are visible or not. Maintenance of interpersonal relationship and balance with productivity. Useful. Modeling, group observing, and brainstorming. Ito na yung time na pag nagmi-meeting yung group or nagkakaroon kayo ng session, wala nang nale-left behind or wala nang hindi na ilalabas yung kanilang gustong sabihin, kundi nai-express na nila yung sarili nila sa group. Nakikipag-participate na sa brainstorming, nagkakaroon na ng modeling, ayan. And mourning and termination, characterized as participants know themselves on a different level. Ito na yung mas nakikilala mo yung sarili mo in a more deeper and reflect on past experience, process, memories, evaluate what was learned, and acknowledge feelings, engage in cognitive decision making. Ito na yung part na naayos or nahanap mo na kung ano yung hinahanap mo. Peer relationship. Feelings of empathy, compassion, and care, bond, participant relate to one another on a deep and something emotional level. Feelings of warmth and sorrow often occur simultaneously. Ito na yung parang friend mo na siya, best friend mo na yung mga kasama mo sa group. Kasi yung care mo sa kanila, yung empathy, napaka-strong, yung warm, you feel at home, you feel warm of them, ganon, yung sorrow na nararamdaman nila ay nararamdaman mo na rin. Task processing. Ito yung promoting a successful end to the group and relationship in the group. Facilitating of gains. Making decision for new ways of behaving and preparation for a new beginning after group ends. Ito na yung time na patapos na yung group. And ito na yung start ng preparation kung paano mo haharapin yung new beginning without the group, and how you will face outside the world without your group after the session. And dito makikita kung naging successful ba yung group na inatenan mo. And useful procedures in this is summarization. Summarization simula nung una hanggang sa huli na pinagdaanan mo sa group. I-rate mo yung mga nangyari sa group, ano yung stages, ganon, or yung mga tao mismo sa group, or yung group leader. And homework, syempre. This homework is for lifetime. Bibigyan kayo ng homework ng group leader nyo um, to be done after the group session. And everything that ends starts with the new beginning, sabi nga nila. And itong group sessions na to ay nabuo because yung grupo na yun nabuo because pare-parehas kayo ng goal, pare-parehas kayo ng objective, and nawa yung group na yun ay nakamit yung objective and goals na gusto nilang marating. And nawa ay may natutunan kayo sa presentation ngayon. And next presenter, please.
So, ayun, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Ako si Diane Grace A. De La Peña. Dako naman tayo sa issues in groups. Ayun. Next. So, bago tayo bumuo, bago bumuo ng grupo na naglalayong nakafocus sa self-help or support groups, makaka-encounter tayo ng mga issues. Psychotherapy groups man yan, psychoeducational, counseling, or task work groups, makikita natin si issues. Yung iba, nagdi-deal sila sa procedures kung paano nila patatakbuhin yung isang grupo, at yung iba naman nagdi-deal sila sa training at sa ethics. So kaya naman, bilang isang leader, bago ka bumuo ng isang grupo, dapat meron kang clear idea kung bakit mo buuin o i-establish ang grupo mo at ano yung ultimate goals mo. Siyempre, hindi pwedeng malabo yan dahil buhay pa rin po yung mga hawak. Na? So, sa process na ito, makikita natin kung magiging successful ba yung isang grupo. Number one, next slide. Yan. Selection and preparation. Napakalaga ng screening and preparation para makapagbuo ng isang grupo. Dahil yung maturity ni leader na nakasalalay dyan, yung readiness ni leader, tapos yung composition ng membership, kung sino yung mga magiging member ng grupo mo. Nag-play siya ng major role whether the group will be successful or not. Yun. Screening and preparation are usually accomplished through pre-group interviews and training. So ano ba nangyayari sa pre-group interviews? May dalawa kayong dapat tandaan. Una, nagpo-provide ng information sa potential member, si leader, o nagpo-provide ng information si leader sa potential member or sa parents ng potential member ng details ng grupo. Ano ba yung mga details ng grupo? Yung goals, yung topic, yung typical interventions. Sa ganitong paraan, nakakapagbigay na rin tayo ng informed consent kapag kapag desisyon si potential member na sumali sa grupo. Pangalawa is nag-gather tayo ng information para mag-decide kung si potential member ba ay magbe-benefit sa goals natin at tumatama or nag-meet yung goals natin at yung needs ni member. Next. Next. Ayan. So before the group begins, group members and leaders need to be informed as much as possible about group process. Yung group process kasi nagre-refer siya sa kung paanong interaction ni nila members ay nakaka-impluwensya sa development ng grupo. So kung uusad ang grupo kung si member ay nagpa-participate sa mga task at may iwan naman yung development ng grupo kung hindi. So for instance, example natin sa homogeneous groups, which yung mga member ay mga pare-parehas. For example natin dito is mga single parent, grupo sila ng mga single parent, sa iba naman ay mga grupo ng mga binatang kalalakihan. Ganon yung homogeneous group. Meron siyang less conflict and risk-taking dahil mas mabilis magkaroon ng unity at support yung mga members. Kaya nagre-resulta siya ng better attendance. Kabaligtaran naman nito sa mas mataas yung risk-taking at conflict sa heterogeneous group dahil magkakaiba sila, diverse yung group at magkakaibang background. Kaya nahuhuli sa mahirap hulihin yung support and unity sa grupo. Kaya merong mga members na nag-drop out. So, in joining a group, kung ikaw ay member at gusto mong mag-join ng group, kung ikaw ay member at gusto mong mag-join ng group, kailangan mo munang i-check yung organizer. Okay? Kailangan natin i-check yung organizer. Sino-sino ba yung mga organizer? At kailangan natin magkaroon ng ma-clear yung mga questions natin kung paano ba tayo maaapektuhan ng grupong to, kung ano ba yung mga outcomes, yung mga possible outcomes kung sasali tayo sa grupong to. So si Corey, next. Nag-list siya ng mga ng mga issues na kailangan ma-clarify at masagot ng leader bago sumali o mag-enroll si member. Number 1, next is dapat magkaroon ng clear statement of a group's purpose. Kailangan tanungin natin si potential leader kung ano po bang purpose ng grupo ninyo para maliwanagan ka kung nagmi-meet ba yung goals mo at yung needs mo sa pangangailangan at goals din ni potential leader. Para hindi ka maligaw, di ba? Para alam mo kung saan ka patutungo. So, sunod naman nito is a description of a group format, ground rules, and basic procedures. Dito, kailangan malaman mo sa group format, dapat alam mo yan kung ano yung self-help group sila nakapokus, sila leader. Sa psychotherapy ba? Sa task work group ba? Dapat malaman mo rin kung homogeneous ba or heterogeneous group yan para alam mo kung komportable ka or hindi ka komportable sa sasalihan mong grupo. Open-ended ba or closed group? Baka kasi hindi ka makapag-adjust ka agad or makapag-adjust ka agad kapag may mga bagong member na sumasali. So, pangalawa dito is tuwing kailan ba o ilang oras ba yung aabutin ng session? Kailangan natin ma-clear kay leader. Kailangan natin matanong. So, sunod naman is ground rules. Dapat alam mo kung yung mga rules para hindi ka magka-problema. No? So, ano yung confidentiality, para saan yung confidentiality, bakit kailangan ng attendance, bakit kailangan natin parating mag-attend sa counseling. So, sunod naman ay dapat marunong tayong mag-goodbye, magsabi ng goodbye, at marunong tayong rumispeto. Yung mga kadalasang ground rules. Sa basic procedures naman, yung mga dapat mong tanongin kung ano ba yung mga activities, task, intervention na gagawin para ma-meet yung mga goals mo. A statement about educational training and qualification of the leader, syempre dapat alamin natin kung legit ba si leader, si potential leader natin Tapos tingnan natin kung ano yung credential ni leader kasi di ba mahalaga 'yon. Sunod naman natin is si pre-group interview to determine whether the potential group leader and members are suited for one's need at the time. So, kagaya nga nasabi ko kanina, kailangan natin ng pre-group interview para ma-determine natin kung or swak ba yung goals mo, yung goals and needs mo sa goals din ni potential leader. So, sunod naman is a disclosure about the risk involved in being in a group and a member's right and responsibilities. So, syempre, kailangan ipaliwanag ni leader kung ano yung mga risk kung sasali ka sa grupo na to. Kasi hindi naman pwedeng mawala na baka merong magkalat or ng mga kinukwento mo kasi posible siya. So, dinidisclose yan ni leader. Dapat i-disclose ni leader yan. Tapos, kung ano ba yung karapatan mo bilang member at yung responsibilidad mo bilang member. So, a discussion about limitation of confidentiality and the roles group leaders and participants are expected to play within the group settings. Ayun. Dito naman, dinidiscuss ni leader kung ano ba yung limitation ng confidentiality. Hanggang saan lang ipoprotektahan yung confidentiality mo. Minsan nabe-break tong confidentiality kapag may potential harm na sa sarili mo o sa ibang tao. Dito pinapaliwanag din ni leader kung ano ba yung role niya na mangyayari pag nasa group na kayo at yung role mo bilang member. Dito dapat makita rin natin ni potential member kung paano ba mag-handle si leader ng mga challenges at paano mawalan ng bias si leader. Other issues naman is group size and duration. Kadalasan kasi ng group size ay 8 to 12 members lang. So, best group size na yon. Nagkakaproblema lang sa group size dahil minsan sobrang dami na, hindi na nakakapag-participate yung ibang group member. Minsan nahihiya na dahil marami na. Tapos sa duration naman nagkakaroon ng issues kapag ang kadalasan kasing duration ay 45 minutes kapag everyday, 90 minutes naman pag once a week. Minsan sobrang tagal, natatagalan sila sa oras, minsan naman kulang sa oras dahil sa sobrang dami ng member. So sa open-ended and closed group naman, open-ended kasi sa grupo nyo, pwede pang magpasok ng mga new members. Samantalang sa closed group naman, kung sino yung ka-member mo sa simula sa hanggang dulos, nila na rin yung ka-member mo. So, nagkakaproblema sa open-ended kapag may bagong dating. So, another adjustment na naman, another pakikisama, di ba, pakikitungo. So, sa closed group naman, nagkakaproblema kapag feeling mo hindi ka nag-grow sa group na yon. Tapos, komportable ka sa close group. So, ang mangyayari niyan, kailangan mo mag-antay ng ilang buwan para makahanap ulit ng group na compatible sa'yo. So, sa confidentiality, nagkakaproblema tayo dyan kapag may nabibreach, pag may mga chumichismis sa labas, no? May nagsasabi ng mga information mo sa labas. Kasi hindi imposible yan, pwedeng mangyari. Kaya mahalaga yung what you see, what you hear, what you learn, when you leave it here. Ganon. Sa number 5 naman is physical structure. Nagkakaproblema o nagkakaroon ng issue sa physical structure kapag si member at yung mga members nyo ay hindi komportable sa environment na ginagalawan ninyo. So, dito naman tayo sa co-leaders. Nagkakaroon ng issue sa co-leaders kapag yung dalawang leader hindi compatible, hindi nagkakasundo, o may competition. Kasi hindi mo alam kung sino kakampihan mo sa kanilang dalawa, di ba? So, ayan, nagkakaproblema doon. So, sunod naman is self-disclosure. Minsan kasi si leader, unnecessary na yung mga sinishare na information. Tapos minsan naman, dahil control mo yung pagsasalita mo or pag-open up mo, hindi ka nag-open up sa group na kailangan. 'Di ba? Paghanda ka na. So, sunod naman is feedback. Minsan, nagkakaproblema sa feedback kapag hindi maganda yung pagkaka-deliver ng message or hindi naintindihan yung message. So, nagkakaroon ng miscommunication. So, sa follow-up naman, mahalaga kasi itong follow-up for evaluation. So, nagkakaproblema kapag hindi na nagpaparamdam si participant or si member natin. Doon nagkakaproblema. So, dako naman tayo sa qualities of effective group leaders. Next.
Good evening, everyone. I am Ma Felisa Imanagelod and I'm going to tackle the qualities of effective leaders. So, dito sa group counseling, sila yung nag-offer ng ugnayan para matulungan ng isang individual or group in growth and problem solving. So, sa mga session na pinapasukan dito sa group counseling ay as a group leader, you let the group member to discuss the issues na nagdala sa kanila para sumali dito sa group. Siyempre, hindi naman sila papasok dito sa group counseling ng walang dahilan. So, dito, madidiscuss ko rin kung ano ba yung role ni group leader, kung bakit ba meron group leader at bakit ba importante ang group leader. So, the group leader works to create atmosphere of trust and acceptance na maghihikayat sa mga miyembro na suportahan ng isa't isa. Also, leaders have the ability to choose how much leadership to exercise. So, bilang isang leader, mamimili ka rin ng way on how can you let your group member shares while the other group members will actively support and participate. Paano ba? Ano ba yung mga strategy na gagamitin mo? So, dahil lagi mo nga silang ino-observe, lagi mo rin ino-observe ang surrounding mo, bilang isang leader, hahanap ka rin ng way kung paano ba ma-manage yung collective anxiety ng group members mo. Hindi ito Itong anxiety na to ay hindi mawawala. Yung pagiging anxious ng mga members. So, meron yung anxiety na kapag mag-share ang isang member, iisipin niya, kung what if nag-share ako sa kanila and bigla nila akong pinagtawanan o hindi nila ako maintindihan, nandun yung anxiety. And there is also anxiety na after someone share because ginagawa niyang vulnerable yung sarili niya. At yung anxiety sa loob ng group na iisipin nila kung paano ba sila magre-respond sa isa't isa. Kung mag-i-smile lang ba or may comment sila sa share sa mga sinasabi ng isa't isa. Kung kaya't meron tayong group leader. Kung kaya't merong group leader ang group counseling para tumulong to incorporate members and to identify sources of anxiety in the group. Kaya bilang isang group leader, importante rin na alam nating i-generate ang energy ng paligid natin, ng mga members. So, isipin mo, dahil nga ba may iba't iba silang personality. So, paano mo yun ma-handle? So, how can you figure out how to energize your members? May iba't iba silang personality. Siguro magpapagawa ka ba ng movement activity or written activity. So, habang ino-observe mo nga sila, makikita mo or mapapansin mo na meron yung iba sa kanila bored na or pagod na. So, pwede mong sabihin sa kanila na break time muna or so, sa next session, pwede mong baguhin yung strategy mo at mas lalo itong gawing interesting para hindi sila mabilis maboard. So, bilang isang leader, pwede ka rin gumamit ng different style for different people dahil totoo nga naman na wala namang isang size na kasya ang lahat. Kung baga, iba't iba ang tao at bilang isang leader, iisipin mo, paano ako magiging effective leader kung iisang structure at format lang ang gagamitin ko. So, according to Yalom and Les, meron tayong 4 na leadership qualities that should possess by someone in order to become an effective group leader at magkakaroon ng positive outcome sa group kung meron ang mga ito. At ito ang caring, meaning attribution, emotional stimulation, at executive function. So first, caring. The more the better. So, when leader cares about their group members at ipinakita nila yung pagmamalasakit nila sa mga kamiyembro nila, the group member will feel the connection. So, dito na mag-uumpisa yung connection na tinatawag. So, ito na rin yung nagbibigay daan sa kanila na to embrace the goals of the group na maging engaged at active sa mga activities na ginagawa or sa session, sa sharing. At magiging active sila, makikipag-participate sila, ganun ang mangyayari. So, kaya nga napaka-importanteng may malasakit ka sa members mo para magkaroon ng magandang ugnayan at magkakaroon na sila ng tiwala sa'yo. So, dito isipin mo, paano kapag wala kang pake sa group members mo? Magiging effective leader ka ba? Sa tingin ba natin may pupunta pa rin ba sa group counseling kung gano'n na ipapakita nating ugali? Hindi ba wala na? Kaya nga may care sa group members dahil isa rin ito sa magandang epekto na para mas mapabilis yung recovery nila at pag-heal. So, at lastly dito sa care, huwag din nating kakalimutan, bilang isang group leader, we have to take care of ourselves in order to have the energy to take care of others. So, tulad nga nung sabi ni Ma'am last meeting na tao lang din tayo at napapagod. Kaya, importante ang self-care, guys. So, next naman po is meaning attribution. Includes clarifying, explaining, and providing a cognitive framework for change. So, as a group leader, dapat din na kapag may question or concerns, yung group members natin ay kailangan natin tong i-acknowledge at maipaliwanag or maipahiwatig sa kanila ng mabuti yung mga tanong or concerns nila para mas maintindihan nila. At kapag naintindihan na nila, they can now have an idea kung ano ba yung mga dapat nilang gawin to cope up at ano ba yung mga dapat gawin na pagbabago sa tinatahak nila para mas mapabilis yung recovery nila. At dito naman po sa emotional stimulation, it involves activity, challenging, risk-taking, self-disclosure. So, as a group leader of a group, magbibigay ka ng task wherein susubukin mo yung emotional weakness ng group members mo. At in order na mailabas nila yung lahat na hinanakit nila at dinadala nila. And by that, you as a group leader, makakahanap ka ng solusyon kung anong care or treatment ang kailangan ng group members mo. Or you can use different interventions kung paano mo sila matutulungan mag-heal. And for the last one, we have the executive function. So executive function entails developing norms, structuring, and suggesting procedures. So as a group leaders, dapat mo din maitatak sa isip nila na may iba't ibang uri ng tao. And by this, mas magiging malawak yung kaalaman bilang isang group leader kung paano ba i-handle ang iba't ibang pinagdadaanan ng tao. And also, you can suggest activity na matutulungan sila para mas lalong mag-develop. At para naman po sa akin, napaka-importante rin na may clarity of purpose tayo pag naging isa tayong group leader. Kasi bilang isang group leader, kapag may nag-open up ng ibang subject na hindi naman dapat, dun na nawawala yung scope. doon na tayo nawawala sa goal. So, as a group leader, pwede din nating sabihin sa kanya na pwede natin itong pag-usapan next meeting or pag-usapan na lang kapag katapos nitong session. So, dahil nga dapat nakafocus lang tayo sa purpose natin at goals natin. So, in conclusion, kapag isa kang group leader, you need to be able to make a good connection. Tulad nga nung sabi ko sa Care, kailangan ng connection. So, tulad ngayon, through this video, I'm either connecting with you or I'm not. So, kaya, ikaw na nanonood ang magde-decide if you let my words touch you or not to make that connection. At dito na po nagtatapos ang aming presentation. Maraming salamat po